Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Let's go ahead and move on to these midseason awards. Let's see where everybody's at. Let's go ahead and start off with the NFL MVP award. I think we can all agree, even though there's no clear-cut front runner right now, I think we can all agree it's Lamar Jackson.
Yes, I have Lamar Jackson, big trust as the MVP, sitting at 7-2. You know, the two best teams are two of the three best teams or four best teams, whatever you want to say in the NFC. And they were, coming in hot. He played the Detroit Lions. Absolutely, they got gashed. They got pounded. And then he played the Seahawks. Both of those teams, the Ravens have beaten them by a margin of 75-9. That's like unbelievable when you think about it. And, a lot of people are going to say, Lamar Jackson only has 9 passing touchdowns, but the situation that he's putting his team in, Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell and all these guys have just been eating like dogs with Lamar Jackson. As soon as they get to the red zone, they run it. Lamar Jackson has really been bringing this team to the red zone. Their efficiency is off the charts. He's the league leader in completion percentage. He's third in QBR under pressure. He generated the second most first downs, and the first one is Jalen Hurts. And of course, a lot of that is going to come from the tush push. So Lamar Jackson's efficiency in generating first downs, I think just his overall play on the season has just been great. He's been killing teams in that intermediate zone. I think he's second in the league in play action percentage, just behind Justin Herbert. Like overall in the season, people are going to say 9 touchdowns, but when you look at the actual footage and you watch these games, Lamar Jackson has just been absolute stud. And to me, I think everybody should be having him as the MVP.
It's my boy L-Jack, you know what I'm saying? Action Jackson, baby. You feel me? He went into this offseason, dealt his own contract. Who can say that? Bet it on himself, man. Got OBJ, they drafted Zay Flowers. He said, I'm locked in with this team. Just give me some passing options, man. Just give me a healthy old line, and I'm going to do something for y'all. They're sitting at 7-2. He's been playing very efficient this year. Very, very efficient. He's taking that team to the end zone. Gus Edwards got a lot of touchdowns. Their new rookie running back that just came back, I think, 2 weeks ago, cooked us. He sliced and diced us for like 10 carries, 130 yards, and 2 tugs. That run game is just, working pretty well, and his pass game is just very efficient. Other than that one game against the Steelers, where all those receivers were dropping a lot of the balls, and they could have been sitting at 8-1. They dropped like 3 touchdowns that game and like another 300 extra yards. That could have been a big difference maker. So from that, and I've been rocking with Lamar Jackson. I picked him to win MVP this year. There ain't nothing else you can say. It isn't like a far race, though. I got him one. Feel like Jalen Hurts is there. Feel like we got to kind of throw in. I don't know if y'all going to throw in Mahomes.
No, hell no. Nah.
Not
at all.
There's no real, number 3.
There's really no real number 1. I really want to put him in McCaffrey because the stuff that he's been doing for the Niners, week in and week out, regardless of, even if they lose, he's still one of the most important players on that team, and he's still performing. That's another guy.
You put McCaffrey, you put Tyreek Hill before Mahomes, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tyreek too.
100%.
Yeah. I really feel like the NFL should move off this this narrow base field that they have with quarterbacks every single year for MVP award. I feel like it got to be broadened. I feel like every year cannot be a quarterback 24/7. Obviously, one of the most important pieces to the team, but every single year it's the same thing. One quarterback's going to be much better than all the other quarterbacks, and that quarterback's going to end up winning the MVP award usually. So, they got to look at some other options and see what it is.
I think the way you fix that is you just take away Offensive Player of the Year because that's how they reward all the other skill positions.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, obviously, I'm not even the biggest Lamar Jackson fan, and I wouldn't sit here and lie to you guys and say that. But even when I think about Lamar Jackson this season, I think about what Stephen A. Smith said on First Take, saying, "Are the Baltimore Ravens getting their money's worth?" And meanwhile, there's a bunch of highlights of wide receivers dropping passes coming out of that Steelers game, and next thing you know, he's saying things like, "Nah, the Ravens are not getting their money's worth." And even though coming out of that week, he was the best quarterback in the loss, which is pretty crazy. But for me, I think it's, even though it's not like a clear-cut front runner for this award, it's Lamar Jackson 100%, man, because we actually sit here and we watch these games from week to week, and even though the stats aren't necessarily the craziest, Lamar Jackson is pretty much putting his whole team in positions to succeed. And the defense has been balling out. The defense has been amazing. We do have to give credit on that side of the ball. They've been doing an amazing job. But Lamar Jackson is also doing his part. And he's doing his part and more. And so I got to give him credit there. That was the one thing, coming into this season, I was sitting here and questioning whether or not he's going to be able to uplift his offense, with this new offensive coordinator, with all these new toys that he's got and the contract and all that stuff. But he's done he's done a lot more than what I expected, and he's been taking the baton and running with this. So I got to give him credit there. And then, I do want to talk a little bit about this Ravens team, though, as we talk about these awards, man. Can we sit here and comfortably say they're the best team in the AFC? Are they the team to beat?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. As it
stands now, because look at the Chiefs' offense, and you two brought up a good point 3 weeks ago, like when we were saying, like, is this really just how the Chiefs' offense is gonna operate? It's easy to say Mahomes is gonna uplift this team, but as it stands now, this offense just doesn't look good. It doesn't look inspiring. Of course, defensively, they've just been absolutely phenomenal. They've been playing great on that end, but week in and week out, when we're watching this offense, it just doesn't seem like things are just getting better. It seems like a lot of the offense is remaining stagnant. Like, the wide receivers haven't been good. Travis Kelce, when Taylor Swift isn't there, hasn't been good. The entire offense in of itself just hasn't been what we were expecting it to be. And so I think as it stands, like when you look at it, the Ravens are the biggest threat to take down the Chiefs. To take them down.
Hey, Joe Shiesty, man, relax.
Of course, he's always going to be a thorn in Mahomes' side. He's going to be a thorn. But just know.
We said let that leg heal up. We said let that leg heal up, and that team's coming back.
But you know who owns that AFC North, bro? It's going to be the Ravens, man. Trust, man. It's going to be the Ravens.
I'm a big Lamar fan. Joe Shiesty,
they're going to take down. They're going to take them down.
Because
y'all remember last year in the playoffs, if they had Lamar Jackson, man, I ain't saying too much, but if they had Lamar Jackson, you remember that 1 yard fumble? They took it 99 yards to the crib. I'm just saying, man, that was a close game. That was heated. If they had Lamar Jackson
2.0, they had Lamar Jackson 2.0.
Nah, come on, bro.
No, they had the Walmart version of Lamar, man.
Come on, bro.
It finally caught up to them in the end.
I feel like it's the Bengals. For me, the Chiefs
Bengals
defense,
obviously pose a crazy threat to the Chiefs.
The Chiefs defense, to me, I feel like they have stepped up much early on than they usually do for the Chiefs. Last year, they usually turn up the last 6-7 games of the year. That's when they start warming up, getting into playoffs. And then we see those playoff performances that they have on the defensive side of the ball, and it's fantastic. Right now, they've been cooking since the start of the season. I feel like if they can, Mahomes can get this offense rolling, and if the receivers and Mahomes can get on the same page, it'll be a scary sight down the road. It's a lot of ifs. I feel like
the thing is, man, I've been telling anybody that will listen that this Kansas City Chiefs team isn't the same team from last year. It's not the same team from years before. Like, this team is completely different. Like, defensively, obviously, we mentioned that they're an elite group on that side of the ball. But this offensive group that they have right now is not an offensive group that can win a Super Bowl. And 3 weeks ago, when I raised the concern, we brushed it aside. And the reason why we brushed it aside is because the guy they have under center, the guy they have at the quarterback position, which is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody that I've tried telling this story to tells me the same exact thing. We have to respect Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in this league. He's going to be able to get him out of any situation that they're in. But no, the thing is, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm hoping everybody will listen. That this Chiefs offense is terrible. This Chiefs offense is not good. When Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce aren't going out there and playing catch like father and son, they really can't move the chains. The reason why they ended up winning that Miami Dolphins game was because of that touchdown that they got on the defensive side where Tyreek Hill fumbled going into that before the end of the first half. Like, the defense has been really carrying this team throughout the course of this season, and Patrick Mahomes hasn't been playing good. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying it's all Patrick Mahomes' fault. I'm blaming the weapons that are surrounding Patrick Mahomes. Aside from Travis Kelce, you have Sky Moore, you have Kadarius Toney, you have MVS. These guys just aren't good enough, to go out and put points on the board. Rashee Rice and guys like that. Like, that's my biggest concern for this Kansas City Chiefs team, because when these guys run into elite teams in the postseason, when they run into a team like Lamar Jackson and they run into the Cincinnati Bengals, like, what are they going to do? I'm not going to sit here and mention the Bills. Those guys are probably the biggest frauds in all of football. But when they run into those two teams, it's going to be really tough to compete. I don't really care how you slice the cake, man. It's going to be tough to go up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's going to be tough to go up against Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews in the way that team has been playing. So that's just the one thing that I wanted to raise a lot of concern on. But to get back to the Baltimore Ravens, man, I'm obviously, as we all know, I'm the biggest Joe Burrow fan in the world. But at the end of the day, I think as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens are definitely the team to beat, even though the Cincinnati Bengals have got it rolling since Joe Burrow's got that calf healed. You know, those guys are clear-cut front runners to win their AFC North Division. And the way they've been playing on both sides of the ball have been amazing. I know the Bengals have been turning it up these last couple of weeks, but we've seen a larger sample size of this Ravens team, you know, be great on both sides of the ball. They haven't missed a beat, even though they have 2 losses.
Say about the Bengals, the 3 teams they beat in a row, it's not an easy slack to do that, man. You beat Seattle, and then you beat the Niners, and then you beat the Bills. Those are some elite teams you come across and you beat. I feel like right there that it shows pedigree, especially.
You put 2 elite teams, and we put like a good team. Put a good team in there.
A great team. But for them, though, you know, coming off those first 4 games compared to those, like the last 3, is just, for me, it looks completely different. The offense.
I think offensively they have it rolling. I mean, now they've got the juice back on offense. Joe Burrow's not a statue in that pocket. But
and the defense is great. I feel like the Bengals defense, they're performing at the top 10 level again this year. So I don't know. And if I was a betting man, I think I'll go side with my guy Joe Shiesty.
I think these 2 teams, they do meet up in a couple of weeks. They meet up after this upcoming week against the Texans for the Bengals. On Thursday night, we got a matchup between the Bengals on the road playing the Baltimore Ravens. So obviously their first matchup, Joe Burrow was hurt, but this was going to be an interesting matchup.
This is the matchup right here that we got to watch.
It's a matchup that we got to watch, man. Now, let's go ahead and move on to Offensive Player of the Year. I think we're all going with Tyreek Hill on this one.
Pretty comfortably, Tyreek Hill. I mean, the guy's on pace for 2,000 yards. We know everything we've been hearing. The guy's just been the most dynamic playmaker in the entire league. Just, you know, dominating, getting and finding the soft spots in the defense, and just been an amazing yards after the catch wide receiver. The guy's just been a ridiculous weapon. You know, to me, he has the biggest argument for being wide receiver 1, just completely dominant this year. I think it's come to be him.
100% agree.
It's my fantasy wide receiver, man. Without him, I don't know where I'd be. Going with Tyreek Hill in this one. Defensive Player of the Year, though. This one's a little bit tricky for me. I don't really know who I got winning this award.
This one, I'm pretty confident in my answer. I got Myles Garrett winning this. I think this guy, even with the Browns offense that has been struggling, you know, they've missed Deshaun Watson for some weeks, and Deshaun Watson, even in some of those weeks, hasn't been performing like people anticipated. You know, the Browns offense hasn't been that great. You know, when you look at it, this guy has just been absolutely game breaking. You know, 9.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. You know, he's second in pass rush win rate, and he's also one of the most doubled players in the entire NFL. And then when you look back at it, just remember that performance against the Colts. I think that was one of the most dominant NFL performances we've ever seen, you know, from a pass rusher. I think 9 tackles, you know, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He had a blocked field goal, and then one of those forced fumbles was returned for a touchdown. I think just dominance in terms of what he's been able to do. This Browns defense is one of the best in the entire NFL, and a big part of what coverage stats is about is being able to rush the passer, and that's because of Myles Garrett's ability to get home. And he's one of the most doubled guys in the entire league. I think he's just been absolutely ridiculous for this Browns defense. Has been able to keep them afloat even while their offense hasn't been exactly what people wanted them to be. So to me, Myles Garrett's the defensive player of the year.
I'm gonna go with another guy in the same division. Same case with this offense. One of the worst offenses in the league. They really don't do much on offense. I'm gonna go TJ Watt. You know, another guy that 9.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, playing phenomenal, lights out again. And same case, you know, him and Myles Garrett. I feel like it's 1A, 1B. It could be either of them for me. But both guys, you know, struggling offenses, making big plays on defenses, always showing up at the right time for their teams when they need big plays to be made in end games and clutch moments. They're always there. And TJ Watt for me is just another guy that you can put in coverage. He can perform in coverage. You put on the line, he can get you 22 sacks in a season. And we've seen him miss 3 games in a season where I think he played 15 games and ended up with 22 sacks before. And this guy's on pace to break records, and he's doing it again. And I feel like, you know, with the way this offense is doing, he's going to have a lot more big game performances. He's going to have to show up a lot more. And then honorable mention, like I feel like these three guys to me are probably like the three to me the best defensive players, all in the same AFC conference. I got to throw Max Crosby in there. Another guy that's been playing phenomenal. You know, his defense, his offense, another team that's been up and down with horrible coaching, horrible quarterback play, and him to go in, you know, night in, night out. Another guy that I think has 9.5 sacks, a couple forced fumbles. He's been playing phenomenal. So those three guys for me, man, all great players. But I think T.J. Watt comes out and wins it again.
Mad Max, man. I know Bandit's gonna like that one. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, yeah, it's probably Myles Garrett for me. I think he's probably has the most game breaking plays. He's looking to get his first one, so I think he's probably gonna walk away with this one. This next award, though, I think we all know who this one's going to, man. But comeback player of the year, it's going to none other than DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I think pretty comfortably it's going to be DeMar Hamlin. Like I think there's like no discussion about that.
Yeah, and then offense.
To me, it should be based off of football merit. And, you know, the guy gets hurt and everything. You feel me? But you know, comeback player of the year, you got to be on the field, man. I mean, now they're giving the award out for injuries and how a guy comes back from injuries. For me,
yeah, but we know how the NFL is going to operate.
Yeah. Brother, don't get us canceled, man.
I'm not getting us canceled. I feel like a lot of people agree with me. Like this is getting dragged on for too much. I mean, the guy's picture was on an ambulance driving on the field, carrying another player off the field. Like his picture was on the back of the ambulance. Brother, he did not die. He's still alive. He's walking. He's breathing. They can live another day, bro. I don't want to speak too much about a lot of stuff that's happening, but come on now. They're dragging this DeMar Hamlin thing on.
We're not gonna make it out the gutter, man. No, we're cooked, man. Let's just move on to offensive rookie of the year. I think we're going with CJ Stroud, but I think my boy had a strong case, man. But it's like just like how MVP is, man. This is another quarterback. Where when I think about this little race that they have going on between Stroud and Addison, it takes me all the way back to the days where it was Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson, man. Where Justin Jefferson could have won the award, but they ended up giving it to Justin Herbert because of his season. And I think it's going to be the same thing, man. But I think we can all agree.
The thing is, I don't think Addison will be as dominant, though.
It's a little different, though. JJ was pretty dominant that rookie year. I feel like
and Jordan Addison's not dominant.
Not
is it JJ dominant?
No.
Is it JJ?
I wouldn't go as far as to say JJ dominant. I definitely wouldn't say that.
Because I see CJ Stroud compared it to Herbert,
especially after his 5 touchdown, 470 yards. I think the gap is just so wide now.
Why?
Yeah, pretty wide. Not gonna lie.
14 touchdowns and an interception.
14 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Single game rookie record for passing. I think that kind of wide.
Like touchdown right there, with like 46 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a moment that they're gonna look back on.
That's Aaron Rodgers-esque.
Yeah, that's the moment they're gonna look at, man.
Hey, man, my guy got a moment too on Monday night against the Niners.
But nobody's gonna think. Nobody's gonna think about
that moment, bro.
Hey, Addison be cooking though, and it goes back.
You're not gonna think about that, bro. Yo, you heard this guy. No one's gonna think. Damn, you remember that Jordan Addison touchdown? Nobody's gonna remember that shit. But I'm gonna remember, CJ Stroud touchdown to Tank Dell for the game, 100%.
I said that's just some hater shit right there, man. But I can only imagine what Addison's numbers would look like if Kirk Cousins wasn't injured, but it is what it is. We're going CJ Stroud with this one. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who do we got?
This is a pretty interesting one. I think, like
y'all know my pick.
I've been tackling between two of these guys, or juggling between these two guys. I've thought about Jalen Carter and his impact in terms of generating pressure and stuffing the run. I think he's been a hugely impactful rookie. I don't know why the NFL let him go to the Eagles, but now I'm going to go with Devon Witherspoon in this. I think ever since that Giants game, I think he's just been having a great rookie season. That game, he was just absolutely game-breaking. 2 sacks, the 97-yard pick 6. I think he's just been great, 5.4 yards per attempt allowed, in terms of his coverage. I think only 2 cornerbacks are better in that regard. I think overall, in terms of just him being a corner, he's been one of the better in the entire NFL. And I think that's the reason why he's a big reason why that Seattle defense has been performing, at a high degree. And he's my pick for it. But if someone said Jalen Carter, I wouldn't be mad. I think Jalen Carter's been having a great rookie season as well.
Yeah, Witherspoon, ever since he came in after those first 2 weeks that he was injured, and he just hopped right into that starting lineup. He's been playing phenomenal for us, man. He picked 6, the sacks, the coverage, the hits, and just everything to me. We don't speak about Woolen no more. It went from Woolen last year to
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Woolen.
Yeah, but that's the thing I want to comment on though. Woolen's been playing fantastic. Like he hasn't been getting targeted much at all.
Kind of like getting cooked by 38-year-old
OBJ though.
is crazy though.
Getting cooked by OBJ.
He got routed up.
Hey, I blame that. Probably the mental is down. We're down 34 points in the fourth quarter. We ain't put shit up on the board. That guy been on the field 30 minutes out of the 35 minutes of the game. He's probably dead tired. He gave up. But people say, "Oh, Woolen." He's been having a fantastic season. I don't think there's been not much quarterbacks really targeting him like that. They haven't been going to the side. He's been playing great. He's been tackling. He hasn't been missing his, anything. But OBJ getting cooked by him in the end zone with no ACLs is tough. You got to redeem yourself for that. You can't let that happen. But for me, Witherspoon coming into this, and I was raved about his tape coming from Illinois, man. How big of a hitter he was. He wasn't scared of contact. He was, and it shows him playing in this. He's not scared of any type of contact, and that's the type of player we need. We need an aggressive type guy, a guy that's physical, ready to go at players, and can play coverage. So, shout out my guy. And Jalen Carter, another guy that we did pass on. I feel like even if he did play for Seahawks, he would have been a phenomenal player for us too. The stuff that he's doing on the Eagles, I feel like him coming onto the Eagles, he's already became one of their best D tackles, and it shows. Obviously, their front seven is phenomenal, but him fitting in and proving that he can be the lead of the lead on that team, he deserves a chance to win this Defensive Rookie of the Year award as well.
Did you feel like he got robbed last year in this award? It was between.
I wouldn't say he got robbed. Sauce had a fantastic season. I feel like it was a little more gassed up because it's New York media. But if you put Sauce's season on any other team, I still think that he deserves it to win.
Crazy because Sauce is having even better season than he did last year, and he was pretty damn
good. He's having a better
year.
season, and it's quiet this year because people really don't see it. Like now they're like, "Oh, where's the
defense, bro?" You can only feel sorry for them, man.
Yeah, that's
that
another
shit kills me, bro. They play defense, brother. Get back on the field, dude.
It's like, yo, I just picked up my water bottle. I gotta get back on the field now. It's tough for them, man.
Tough, bro.
And I know they're frustrated because it's 9 weeks into the season and they really haven't came on playing like that.
Robert Saleh grew a beard, man.
Hey, yeah, that's crazy.
That brother's stressing, man. But the thing is, though, I blame him a little bit because he's living and dying on that Zach Wilson hill, man.
Hey, and that's what I'm saying. He's living on it.
So. He's getting gassed by the Rodgers 50-yard throws in practice.
He thinks Aaron Rodgers coming back Thanksgiving break, man. Relax.
It's over, bro.
Nah, he really thinks Rodgers coming back anytime soon, man. But yeah, it's either between Witherspoon or Carter. I'd probably go Carter just based on not Carter. I'd probably go Witherspoon just because of the more impact that he's had. But either or, they're the two front runners for this award. And the last award on this list, Coach of the Year. This one can go to a lot of guys.
Yeah, but I think just because of how dominant their team has been since the season started, I think I'll go with John Harbaugh. I think just overall, the team has just been fantastic. He brought in a new OC to revamp the offense. We had our criticisms against Greg Roman, and when you look at this Ravens team, start from defense to offense, they've just been playing lights out. Other than the hiccups like in the Steelers game, and maybe against the Colts, overall this team has just been absolutely fantastic. And a big credit is due to John Harbaugh. He identified that they needed pass catchers for Lamar Jackson. They needed a new OC to start exploring Lamar Jackson's strengths as a passer. And they've done that. So I think, to me, he would be the front runner for the Coach of the Year.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I don't got to speak too much on it. I do think they have the best record. Their defense is showing up. Offensively, they're showing up. But I do want to say two other coaches. I think Doug Peterson and the Browns coach is Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski.
I think those two coaches. Doug Peterson sitting at 6-2 right now. He's coached the Jags team phenomenally well. Trevor Lawrence is playing great. Etienne's playing great. Ridley's going up and down. He hasn't had that consistent of his season, but he's still getting used to the offense. He's still getting fitted in. And then you got Christian Kirk, and he's another guy that came in that they paid last year. He's playing phenomenal. His defense, it's another defense that's low-key been going under the radar. And there's been a couple games where the Jags haven't been scoring a lot of points, and the defense has been stepped up. They've been, holding opponents to not score. They've been, keeping the boat afloat. So Doug Peterson, I got to pay some respect to. And then Kevin Stefanski, man. Losing Nick Chubb, Watson missing a couple games. Offense is really not in the groove, going through multiple quarterbacks. And having one of the best defenses in the league and sitting at 5-3, I think he deserves a chance to have, Coach of the Year argument. I mean, once the season finishes, they got a couple more division games. I know they play the Bengals again. I know they play Baltimore again. I think they do play the Steelers again. So I mean, record could be different from now to the end of the season, but if he gets a couple more key wins under his belt, why not?
The thing is, when it comes to this Coach of the Year award, you kind of have to have the story. You kind of have to, kind of have to make it out of the gutter. Kind of have to have like a game changing season. When I think of that, just based on the criteria for this award, I think number one, I think Dan Campbell would be a good candidate for this award. The way he's turned around that Lions franchise, now they're the number one in the NFC North, and they're looking to win their division for the first time in a very, very long time. Another guy I do want to get your guys' thoughts on is, as of right now, as we sit over halfway through the season, is Kevin O'Connell. How do we feel about him being in this race? We're 4-0 without Justin Jefferson out there on the field. Now with no Kirk Cousins for the rest of the season, we get our first one without him. Sitting here 5-4.
He wouldn't be in my top 3. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that's not because of his own fault. I think that just the team, I don't see the appeal in the story. I think obviously people look at it and they're like, okay, well, Justin Jefferson's been gone, and they just got a nice win on the Josh Dobbs. But overall on the season, I just can't see. People didn't expect him to start off in such a manner, and I think that's what kind of is going to take people to think, okay, Kevin O'Connell, there's no way that he should be in this discussion about Coach of the Year. I think, like you mentioned, of course, the Lions, Dan Campbell has a story on his side. I think Mike McDaniel is an underrated shout for this award. I think when you look at what he's done with this offense and their ability to just be so explosive, he should be someone that's in discussion for as well.
I need that signature win from him though. Man.
You do need a statement win though. So
yeah, all these wins, but with teams under 500, don't move me, man, at all. And that's what I said at the beginning of the season about the. I said this about the Dolphins and the Tua at the beginning of the season. I'm sorry, it's a plug-in. It's there. I'd be through alley-oop. I have to catch it. We said this about Tua in Miami beginning of the season. We need this. We need that W, that big W. And it's been 3 games. Faced 3 teams: Kansas City, the Eagles, and the Bills, and they haven't came out with one.
That's very true. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to go there with my next statement. I was gonna more talk about the Vikings. To think about it this way, what does my guy Kevin O'Connell have to do in order for him to walk away with this award? Because you think about it,
I can't lie. I think he's kind of cooked, bro. There's just no way.
How is he cooked?
I don't think.
What if we make the playoffs?
You guys aren't gonna generate enough wins, bro. Like, just stop lying.
What if we win enough games to make the playoffs?
4-3, right?
Yeah, 5-4. We're the 5-4. We're the 7th seed right now.
Okay.
Like, what more does he have to do? Does he have to win the division? Does he just have to clinch a playoff spot? And
you wouldn't have a better story than the Lions. And the Lions are the front runners for the division.
How would it be a better story? You lose Kirk.
You lose Kirk for literally.
No, but then they wouldn't win the division, though. That's my point.
They're what? They're 2 games
just
back,
making the playoffs with Josh Dobbs is not impressive.
No, that's not a better story. Like, they don't reward. Okay, cute. They're not gonna say, "Wow, that's cute." Like, you guys are the 7th seed, Josh Dobbs. They're gonna be like, "Oh well, Dan Campbell Liddy came into this team. They literally were terrible their first year. Last year they showed an improvement, and now they're winning the division." Dan Campbell has a story.
But they're 2 games behind Detroit.
It's like the same thing why Kevin Stefanski won. It's the same thing why Kevin Stefanski won in 2020. The Browns have been historically trash franchise. He came in, they go 10-6. They go 11-6. They're like, okay, this guy turned around this trash franchise. Same thing.
That's fair enough, man. I still think, I think we got a fair shot.
I'm not gonna lie. No. It's still a chance because, like I said, storyline. No Kirk Cousins. JJ out for 4 to 5 games, and you're sitting at 5-4 with who? Joshua Dobbs came in. He didn't even know the playbook. The guy read it upside down and made some plays yesterday. I mean, who else can you say like it's the coach? Coaching Josh Dobbs like that. You got to pay. You got to pay that. They can next 2 to 3 weeks if they continue this win streak. They could be sitting at 7-4. They could be sitting at 8.
Bro, they have Josh Dobbs, bro. Just keep that in mind. All it takes is 2 losses, and this discussion is over.
But Josh Dobbs
can't really say that.
Hey, first couple of weeks he was competing in Arizona.
And then the next 3 weeks, what happened?
No, but with nothing though. He had nothing.
The next 3 weeks, we saw what happened.
It's like you show up to a gunfight with empty bullet rounds, and then you go to a team where got some ammo.
We got some pieces, man. We got some heavy hitters. You got. I mean, the thing is with my team, guys. Before we move on to our biggest surprises and biggest disappointments, I just kind of take this thing week by week, man. Obviously what Josh Dobbs did was amazing, but I can't get too high, I can't get too low. Because 4 weeks ago, I was just sitting here telling you guys I want the season to be over. So, I think the only way my guy could possibly win it, not that I think about it, would probably just be overtaking the Detroit Lions to win the division, knocking them back down to a wild card spot. But I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see on that.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.